I'm here from downtown. I'm here from Mitch and Murray. And I'm here on a mission of mercy. Because the good news is you're fired. The bad news is you've got just 1 week to regain your job, starting with tonight. Starting with tonight's sit. Oh, have I got your attention now?
Raw Mike Richards, brought to you by Bell Lifestyle Products. Also streaming live on saga960.ca. And now, from the Bell Lifestyle Studio, here's Mike.
That was Dave Park talking to his staff, by the way. That's what they get every week. He, as you can tell, tough boss, very, very regimented. Oh, yeah. Calisthenics every morning and taking their lunch. Yeah, what do you got there? What do you got for me today?
Lunch money, I hope. Lunch money, I hope.
Lunch money. But if it's David Park, I bet it would be a nutritious and filled full of nutrients if David Park is going to have a lunch. Is that correct? Do I have this right?
Absolutely. You know, we got to bring in that live, raw, organic food into our bodies. You know, we can't have dead carcass type material coming in, right? That's what we love.
Well, tell me about this. You know, it seems to be, it's been trendy for a while. But when people say raw food, like a raw restaurant, and there was a big thing on Netflix. It was a crazy story about a woman who was like extremely popular that had married this guy, and it's filled full of it's just the worst story of all time. But she made her name in New York City because it came to in place to eat, like Howard Stern, anybody, baseball players, football players, and it was a raw restaurant. So for those who are not familiar with what is raw food, what are we talking about?
Well, a lot of times raw food would be uncooked or unpasteurized or not baked or not fried, and oftentimes raw restaurants would also use sprouted seeds and sprouted legumes even, because when you sprout foods, you unlock many other nutrients that also help with the digestibility of them as well. And when we eat these foods, although it's not always the tastiest, we do get that feeling of fullness, satiety. We have we just feel fuller and lighter, and we're able to not be weighed down by all the heavy proteins or the heavy carbs. So yeah, usually raw means uncooked, unpasteurized, and overall higher nutrient content, because when things are cooked, we lose the nutritional value, we lose the enzyme activity that's found in the foods. And oftentimes, although it tastes good, it's really like cooked food. Of course, it's always charred and leads to things like cancer cells. So yeah, raw food from time to time is actually pretty good.
I could keep the name of the show, open up a restaurant.
Exactly.
Right? These are great ideas. No one listens. I also, what we're talking about here this morning, and I just realized after doing a bunch of yard work, it is the fall, so it's the worst when you're going around the property and doing all this stuff, because you're maybe a little bit older now, maybe not going to the gym, you're not loosening up, you're not doing a lot of things. And I do notice, and again, as I've said beforehand, when you start talking about Inflammexx, I am always amazed at not only the results, not only what I think are kind of quicker results, quicker than I would have thought, but people are constantly asking me why it works and what exactly Inflammexx is. So for those listening this morning, haven't seen the TV ad that we have running all the time, what exactly and why is Inflammexx so effective?
What Inflammexx is a product made by Bell Lifestyles. Bell Lifestyles, they have they've numbered each and every one of their products, Inflammexx being number 70. And I think it should be number 1, really, because Inflammexx, it has a number of different herbs that target inflammation, and that's why it's called Inflammexx. These herbs will really reduce the inflammatory response that we get, whether it's us, as you said, raking the leaves, and let's say we step on a piece of on a stick or on a rock and we twist our ankle, that inflammation sets in, and we're going to feel that pain soon after. If you take Inflammexx, it'll help that pain modulation, reducing the inflammation, reducing the the time that it gets to help and repair. So I think Inflammexx is so important, especially when a lot of us reach for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs off the counter, but those often lead to issues with digestion and intestinal permeability. We have issues with our gut. So, products like Inflammexx, the herbs that they use, not only will they help with inflammation, but they actually help with digestion too. Yeah.
Well, if you're looking at like 1 in 5 Canadians, suffer with arthritis. I mean, it's something that is out there. If you have arthritis, is this also something you can take? Is it effective knowing that you know that you have arthritis?
Absolutely, absolutely. I have arthritis. I've had 2 knee surgeries myself. I suffered an ACL tear when I was like in my later teens, and then same knee, I had another operation to remove the meniscus. So osteoarthritis is part of me, and it's going to be with me forever. And that's why I like to use natural things, because I like to eat. I like to indulge in my Western foods. So eating these yummy foods, it does play a role in inflaming my body. So using number 70 Inflammexx from time to time really helps with the inflammation and the digestibility of my foods. Mm-hmm.
And it's I mean, when you look at the actual makeup of
Yep.
what is actually in there, I mean, this is old medicine. This goes back probably 1,000 years when you start thinking about what is actually in this. So for those listening here this morning, wondering why it's effective and what's in it, what are we talking about here?
Okay, so the herbs that are used in Inflammexx are also excellent for arthritis. What is arthritis? Arthritis, or any kind of itis. Itis is like an inflammatory response here. Arth means joint, and itis means the inflammation. So we're inflaming the joint here. And what are these 9, 10 key ingredients? One of them being holy basil. Holy basil, another name for it, tulsi. Some people know it as tulsi. A lot of our Indian customers, they revere this herb. They love this herb because actually, when you smell it, it smells like bubble gum. It smells nice. Yeah, it's great. I actually have one of our customers dropped off 2-3 little leaves of plants, and now it's in my house. It smells great. I can't wait until I make teas out of it. One of the main ingredients in Inflammexx is the holy basil. Great for lowering your blood sugar, great for reducing that inflammatory response. But there's so many. Just holy basil is just one of them. Another one, rosemary extract, a great preservative, a great antioxidant. Grapeseed extract, excellent for the capillaries. We got ginger, which is really good for grounding our body and helping with digestion. Japanese knotweed, that's an ingredient that has a high amount of resveratrol, which is a potent antioxidant. We're slowing down our aging, guys. So use Inflammexx, slow the aging down, support the digestion. There's a few other ingredients. I'm sure some of you have heard of frankincense. Yeah, frankincense is great. It's one of the 3 gifts given to Jesus, baby Jesus, right?
There you go. That's right.
Frankincense, gold, and myrrh. So frankincense is inside Inflammexx. Another very, very important ingredient in the fight against arthritis. Lastly, one of the more important ones is turmeric. Turmeric is also found inside Inflammexx, and turmeric is so revered to help with digestion, especially with like fatty foods. Like when you take in turmeric, you start creating bile, which is something that is so important for us because bile breaks down all of the yummy fatty foods that we like to consume. So having the turmeric in there is key. This Inflammexx formula I feel it's so important. If anyone eats meat, if anyone likes to indulge in carbs or desserts and just eats 4 or 5 times a day, sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a day, and if we like to eat, Inflammexx should be right in your cupboard.
And there it is, right there. It is right there. And as they say in the commercial, 2 M's, 2 X's. That's how you remember it. Very easy to remember. Now, is it like at first when I started taking it, and this is when actually the radio station pretty much first started, they had this weird circular staircase they bought somewhere, and it was brutal. And that was before all the various operations I had. So I was carrying an extra 40-45 pounds. And so on a smaller frame, like someone like myself, you could really start to feel it in the knees. Like watching me go up the stairs was, like I say in the commercial, it was like watching Fred Sanford go up the stairs. It was not good. And Dave's like, geez, you're moving awfully slow. And then, Bell Lifestyles comes around, and we start up this great relationship, and they give me Inflammexx. And within a very short period of time, and I mean 48 hours, like it seemed to be very, was it in my head, or is it really that quickly being that effective? Well,
a lot of the anti-inflammatory drugs that we have in our regular drugstores, they combat the inflammatory response that our body produces in a similar way that these natural herbs do too. But these natural herbs don't cause gut rot. These natural herbs don't cause issues with our digestibility. In fact, they actually support our digestion. They support antioxidant support. So why not use something a lot more natural that will allow us to help? And yeah, you're right, Mike. Like they work. They work, and not only do they work, but they work rather quickly. The only thing that we can really do is support what's coming in with Inflammexx by consuming foods that are a bit more healthier, things that don't cause the inflammation.
But the other thing too that we have talked about with a lot of these products is that even though we understand the ingredients and what's in them, in order to get the amount that you need to be effective, to be medicinal, if you tried to do it just eating food, it just no way. Some of the food that you would have to consume to get to what these actually do, it's why you take a supplement. It's because it's all in one thing. You don't have to sit there and have a whole bunch of this or a whole bunch of that because it contains it. You'd be eating all the time. This is a quick and effective way to have it, as opposed to those that are, well, look, we always talk about nutrition. We always talk about what we eat, but this is to an extended ability to fight some of these things like inflammation and arthritis, because you can't just sometimes get it by eating.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you mentioned, I mentioned a few different herbs. Holy basil. Many people actually drink the tea of it. Some people consume turmeric every single day, or rosemary tea. That's great. You can continue to have those things, but a formula like Inflammexx, they've used extracts, they've used potent versions, and they've actually isolated certain compounds of these herbs to make it stronger, to make it more potent. And each herb is not in a blend. Although it's blended, each herb has been quantified. So we know exactly how many milligrams we're getting of each herb, which is great. It's not like an ambiguous blend of, hocus pocus herbs. We're actually getting specific detailed herbs into a specific milligram at specific ratios to fight that inflammation response. And yeah, from time to time, yeah, we can take one every day, but again, from time to time, we can actually take a little bit more as needed. There's a therapeutic response. So if you have a major injury, yeah, you can take a couple more, no problem. If you're into sports, if you just blew out a shoulder, or you tweaked an ankle and you really want to get back into your athletics or into your sport or into even your regular day job, use Inflammexx, because it really helps, as you said, just within 48 hours.
It's amazing. It is amazing. And speaking of amazing, if people are listening to this morning, and certainly here in Mississauga, you can talk to David. He actually is in your neighborhood. He's at Square One. You can go to Nutrition House, and he has all this information, and he will walk you through what you need based on, maybe what you suggest that you might be suffering through, or some issues. David's there. And so right there in Square One Nutrition House, you can go see him, because he's basically a superhero. Is that fair to say? I mean, I'm trying to read your writing. Yeah, it says superhero. Yeah.
Part-time. I don't know if that was missed out, but it's part-time superhero. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, part-time. I couldn't read that part.
Full-time bell pusher, but.
Well, hopefully I'll see you soon, my friend. It'll be great to catch up and actually see you in person, which people always ask, how well do you know someone? Like sometimes you talk for years with someone, like Pierre Maguire, who was on my show for years. It took about 5 or 6 years before we actually met face to face because of circumstance. But I can't wait to see you. I want to get out to your store, obviously. And once again, Square One, Mr. Saga, thanks so much for this morning. You always do a great job.
Thanks, Mike. Take care, guys. See you.
That is Dave Park. We're talking about number 70, right? So it goes by the numbers, easy to follow. Number 70, Inflammexx. As you know, 2 M's, 2 X's.